Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, here to talk about the best big man build for a 5-out offense in NBA 2K23 for Comp Pro-Am. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be mainly showing this 7'2 with a 7'11 wingspan, but I do also want to mention two different builds that will be featured. Number one being another corner build that can actually play power forward at a really good rate, and I figured I would rather just throw in the power forward with the center build video and not really make a whole separate one for power forwards. So we'll get to that in the last part of the video, but also featured in today's video is another one where our team has actually been running this every now and then, where we have Joey as one of our most featured people with this build right here, as a 7 foot with a minimum wingspan, 92 3-pointer, and it can play wing on offense for us, and we're able to go with a double bigs lineup where we can run a big on the wing and then a big in the corner on O, but then on defense they're both corner and corner, and we can rotate to either side. So just keep in mind, in our ideal lineup, I actually would prefer to have two of these three builds on the court at all times together. I think it'd be so fire, and one of them probably has to be this build right here. We'll get into the kind of details as far as how our lineup works later on in the video, but like I said, we're here to mainly show the 7'2" with the 7'11 wingspan. This is what I think is my favorite build as far as all three of them go. Real quick, just to mention too, they all three get play take, which I think is a really fire thing as far as an addition for a 5-out team. As we already talked about with this other video where I showcased my shooting guard and small forward builds that play on my team, from Zeke to Tonic as well, they both also get play take. So surrounding me in that lineup would be 4 people with playmaking takeover. Typically, we play with Spill, who's on a build like this right here, or maybe even AK on my lock-awaited account that I created, where maybe we have a back end also that doesn't have play take. So realistically, it'd be like 3 people besides me that have play. But nonetheless, want to get into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all the good stuff, and like always, try to win 2,000 likes. Now, to start us off, like I said, 7'2", 231 on the weight. It's to get that Hall of Fame rebound chaser, and then we also have the 7'11 wingspan. Now, with this build right here, I also would recommend Defined. Some people would prefer Built, some people prefer Burly on the builds that can get it. Me personally, don't really care for that, to be honest. I'd rather just be Defined, period. Simple as that. Now, the reason we have the ball handle and speed with ball is for playmaking takeover. As you can see, we have 86 pass accuracy as well. This gets 99 defensive rebound for the Hoff rebound chaser. We have decent speed, maxed out as far as a 7'2 can go. Our strength is very bad. I want you guys to keep in mind, these builds right here are not meant to get box outs. That's what our back end, or maybe even Tonic's build with only gold box out beast, is meant to do. We just are landing a hit on the big man, whoever's on that like build, so to say, whoever's playing pick and roll defense on the backside. And then swinging in off both corners is going to be Hoff rebound chaser at 7'2", 7 foot, 6'11", whatever the case may be. So that's why I don't really care too much for strength with this. I don't think the box outs are that important, yet at the same time you get Hoff box out beast too. And I truly do believe you can still get the box outs 100%. Now, if you are playing against some gigantic max weight 7'2", 7'3", in my opinion, you're not playing Comp Pro-Am. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Them 40 speed bigs, they don't work in Pro-Am. It's as simple as that. So the dudes who go like super high on the strength and the weight and stuff like that, it's just a thing that's not existing in Comp Pro-Am, if you ask me. Anyway, with this build right here, we went down 1 on the wingspan. Now, this was for Joey specifically. He wanted, and I also wanted to have him on this too, the Hall of Fame Space Creator, and then we could also get him Gold Green Machine off having 80 mid-range. I think it's actually very convenient. This fits his style very good. This build right here does not really get the rise up, but we can make some things shake as far as the badge counts go, because to be honest with you, we don't really need any extra shooting, we don't need any extra playmaking, then we definitely don't need any extra defense. You'll see that as we load the build up. So what you actually could do is put 5 extra badge points on the finishing and get the rise up. And honestly, it will be a lot to be spending, but you could do it, and we'll explain that when we get in there. But anyway, as far as the other badge counts, 20, 16, and 28, I think this looks really fire, and this is what I really like, to be able to play corner on offense, corner on defense, be a really good dropper, good shot blocker, paint intimidator, just whatever the case may be. And as you can see, for the takeover options, we, like I said earlier, have playmaking takeover, team takeover boost. This is significant as far as benefiting me as the point guard and other players as well. I mean, if one guy gets his play take, that makes it so others get their play take easier. If others get their play take easier, that means the others keep on getting their takeover easier. And it's just this cycle that continues and continues and continues. And albeit it makes it so I get on takeover extremely easy as the point guard in this 5-out offense. So anyway, the options though: sharp, play, rim, and glass. I think the secondary should just be whatever helps you get your takeover the fastest. Clearly that is not playmaking takeover. You definitely need some other things that will help you get this. So if you shoot the ball a lot, sharp. if you are a shot blocker and you're down near the rim and you just happen to get a lot of blocks, go ahead and go with rim. Not to mention when you run rim with anchor on like gold or higher as well, you get a lot of takeover for each block. But the realistic sense to be running would probably be box out wall. Not to mention it makes up for the low strength if you ever are in the situation that you need a more reliable box out. Alright, so for the badge points, I want to first and foremost explain the idea with this build would be to core rise up on silver and not run fast twitch. The close shot is a little bit too low, the standing dunk doesn't give you fast twitch on silver, and to me it just makes a lot of sense to just go with the silver rise up. Now the problem with that is we have to add 5 extra badge points to the finishing. So as you can see, it'd be 5 extra to get the bronze, and then we have 1 badge point remaining right here because obviously as you can see we have 11 out of 11 that are available. So you have to spend at least 10 between tier 1 and tier 2. We all know that by this point. So 5 more equals that you would be able to run silver rise up. Now the plan would also be to not core that because to be real with you, we don't have a whole lot to pick from for finishing. So the plan is for this build to just be able to get a cut for the dunk, a cut to just standing dunk, simple as that, and then still have silver rise up as well to just get, you know, morphed into the standing dunks every now and then for the contacts. But regardless, the whole point is to have the double shooting core. Now with the double shooting core, the plan would be to core corner and catch and shoot. To the test that 2K Labs ran recently, in my opinion, corner specialist might actually be a little bit underrated these days. If you didn't want to run corner, you could just double core claymore or something like that. Boom, then you have a ton of badge points to play with between maybe more mini magician, maybe more clutch shooter, volume shooter, whatever the case may be. But to be real with you, I still think this is the best way of going about things. Corner, catch, blinders, claymore, green machine, space creator, because once again Joey is going to be really good with this stuff, and then same with mini magician too, just on bronze. This is what he feels comfortable with, so I would recommend it the same for you guys too. Space creator is the more easy way to use your mid-range game as a 7-foot big, or 6'10 plus I should say. With the KD hop jumper, it goes crazy, man. Those hop jumpers are insane, and it's better for just creating space. It's easier to hit off of, and you get it Hall of Fame easier than mini magician. Now as for the playmaking, I would suggest if you have 1 extra playmaking badge point to put on, to just go ahead and put it on the playmaking, because as you can see it would get you the needle threader on gold. The plan would be to core your tier 3 because obviously you would need those badge points to be able to, you know, run the badge in general. I guess to be fair, you could run break starter for instance and then just run needle threader instead. Whatever is easier for you to core, I suppose. Whatever works, it's fine. But anyway, the whole point is, the way that I'd prefer to run some badges here would be needle threader as well, so at least 1 more badge point, and then break starter, bailout, clamp breaker, floor general, and Hall of Fame. Simple as that. To me, vice grip is extremely overrated, and our post control and ball handle are extremely low, so you only get this on bronze anyway. To me, a little bit of a waste of a badge point, if you ask me. But anyway, moving along to the defense, as you can see, we are coring the rebound chaser on Hall of Fame. You got gold anchor. To be real with you, if the anchor is easier to core, go for it, because as you can see, we have too many defensive badge points at this point. To me, post lockdown, not really worth. Same with brick wall and pogo stick for a build like this. If you wanted to run pogo, I suppose, but that would mean you're probably putting in some extra defensive badge points, or you just choose not to run things like workhorse and off-ball pest. And then I suppose, like for instance, you could take glove off as well. Boom, there's your gold pogo. And then I don't really think Hall of Fame is doable unless you maybe added another badge point. But if you deem that running pogo is more important than, like, let's say workhorse and off-ball pest together, then so be it. I guess to be fair, to me, neither of them is really a great situation, but I would probably value the workhorse a little bit more. And then, like, you know, the off-ball pest kind of just gets lumped in there with it. It's about as simple as that. Regardless though, the whole point is adding that extra 5 finishing is pretty mandatory for the rise up, unless you just didn't want that on this build, and in which case maybe you could just run extra defensive badge points, run the pogo a higher level, and then still be able to get workhorse. Let's say you put 4 extra defensive badge points on, boom, there's your gold workhorse and the pogo on Hall of Fame, straight like that. So I would definitely recommend 1 extra playmaking at the absolute minimum, and then if you have the extra to put into finishing, the 5 for rise up as well. Now I'm talking about, you know, when I make these build videos, people like Zeke, Tonic, Joey, people that have consistently played 2K every season and have all these extra badge points and the double cores and stuff like that too. So just know, if you don't have the double shooting core, it's okay. Just don't run corner specialist. It's about as simple as that. Other than that, you can do this the exact same way, just like I have it right here. Anyway, now let's talk about his other version that has the 7-foot and 7-foot wingspan. Now Denton also has a build like this. We play with them both sometimes, and Denton's build is very similar to this as well. They're both Hall of Fame rebound chaser builds, and they are chunky. 275 pounds, but you're still sitting here looking at a 49 strength and 48 strength. And I know some people are going to scoff at this type of stuff. I know for a fact the build works. I know it does exactly what I want it to on defense, and I know exactly for a fact that you could make it work like this on defense too. All you need is a power forward / back end quote unquote. It's what everybody makes for their power forward builds, and in our case it's actually kind of a lock build that just plays back end. Anyway, the power of this build is the fact that it can play wing on the offense, and let me just explain now that we're to this point how our lineup works like that. So picture I'm the point guard and Zeke is our shooting guard, and we would just have two 6'9s that are playing the 1 and the 2. Now on top of that, we still have another big man like the 7'2 I just showcased beforehand that's playing corner on offense, corner on defense. Now to fill in the last 2 spots defensively, we need a back end, aka someone who can play that power forward role, and then we need another corner on defense. And that actually works out perfectly. I can guard ball with my build, Zeke can guard wing with his, and then boom, we have another big in the corner, another big in the corner, and then a back end playing pick and roll defense with us. So that's where this build completes the offensive aspect of things, where we need another person who can play wing offense, because a lockdown's not doing that. He only has 83 3-pointer, and that 7'2 we just showcased earlier is not doing that either. And if we went with the triple ball handler lineup, that leaves us with a corner on defense that isn't exactly built for it or good for that spot. So that's where I love this build. It's so cool. It's such a unique thing that adds to our offense. Again, the principle of this is pretty much the same. We need 16 finishing badge points for the silver rise up, 80 driving dunk, 80 standing dunk, and obviously the 13 finishing badge points right now that we have to get to 16 eventually. Now with the shooting, we have 92 3-pointer and 77 mid-range. Now this is okay because like I said, Joey loves that Hall of Fame Space Creator stuff, but the 3-pointer itself gets that for you with 83 or higher 3-pointer. And with this as well, we have Hoff Green Machine, Gold Blinders, Hall of Fame Claymore. We got the Gold Limitless Range. You still have Agent 3 in the tier 1 for 3 badge points right here. That's fire as well. And there's so much to this build that's so unique. Like the fact that Blinders is tier 2 as well as a wing shooter. That's fire. It's so convenient. Now, as far as the playmaking goes, the break starter is only going to be on gold. As you can see, 80 pass accuracy. It's all we got. And obviously, there's not a whole lot to be done here besides, let's say, 1 extra badge point in bronze unpluckable or needle threader, but I still think unpluckable could be the better way to go as far as this stuff goes. Unfortunately, we can't get the quick first step to the point that we would need it. Obviously, we only needed 1 more ball handle for that, but being 7 foot, it's necessary to be like this. If you want to make this a 6'11", you could also do that as well, but this is just kind of the way we ended up going with this. Now, pretty low interior defense. It is what it is. I don't think it's so necessary. I think just the shot blocking and anchor is more important, if you ask me. 99 defensive rebound off that weight that we have, and 79 vertical. Still decent. The whole point of this build is it's obviously pretty chunky on offense, and it's just to be able to get the Hoff rebound chaser. And this build is still going to be a pretty decent dropper. The drawback is its wingspan, but again, it's not even our main dropper on defense. It's a second guy with Hall of Fame rebound chaser and gold anchor. And that's a huge thing, bro. The fact that we can rotate to both corners and send a big down no matter who's where, it's really, really convenient. And we can even re-rotate as well. There's so many unique things to this lineup right here because of this build. It's the really Swiss Army knife that just makes everything work. So, once again, takeover options, pretty similar. Sharp, play, rim, and glass. Simple as that. Once again, we're running the glass secondary and the play primary. Alright, so once again, we are going to be adding 3 extra finishing badge points in here for the rise up on silver. It's obviously something that I find pretty necessary, and I think at this point you're a little bit closer than the other build too. So that's what I would definitely deem the right thing to do. Now, again, we're in that exact same spot where it's not really worth running running a finishing core at all. So I think it's extremely ideal if you have a double shooting core loadout, and obviously that's what really requires you having played the game in Season 3. I know I'm speaking to the vast majority of people out there that probably don't even have that, to be honest with you, but I'm just speaking from our perspective of what we run on our builds that we use for our team. So just keep that in mind. But either way, once again, if you don't have the double shooting core, it's slightly okay, but not quite as much for this build. It's really, really convenient that we have the double shooting core on a build like this, because as you can see, we would double core on the catch and shoot in Limitless, not run Deadeye, not run corner, and then at that point you have Hoff Claymore, Blinders, Green Machine, Space Creator, and we need 1 more badge point on the shooting for Agent 3 on gold. Past that, nothing else is really that necessary, to be honest with you, but that's why it's extremely important that we have the double shooting core, because this is a significant amount of shooting badge points that you would have to run if you don't have that double shooting core. But anyway, because we do on Joey's build, that's the plan with that. Boom, catch and shoot, Limitless, double core. As far as the playmaking goes, we need 1 extra badge point right here too. So we need at least 1 more to be able to core unpluckable on bronze. And then at that point, you actually would be able to get it for free. So really, you could even run the floor general and handles for days, because if you spend 1 more badge point into it on the playmaking, that means you get unpluckable for free. So you just picture this as cord right now, and we would have 1 more badge point to spend amongst the build, which who knows where this goes, to be honest with you. Probably special delivery, I guess, on bronze. But either way, that one extra badge point would let you get the unpluckable. So then for the defense, this one is definitely even more justifiable to not go for the pogo, if you ask me, because then at that point you have the Hoff Rebound Chaser core, you got the anchor on gold, box out and chase down on Hall of Fame 2, workhorse maxed, challenger at bronze, interceptor bronze, and then off-ball pest just to throw in the extra badge points. And as you can see, it sets up perfectly for defense. You don't need anything more than this, to be real with you. And some people might argue brick wall, some people might argue pogo, but again, I feel very confident in this build's ability defensively and shooting wise on offense and as a cutter as well. And even the playmaking is perfectly fine too. So this is a really good build that people will sleep on just off the fact that its strength is extremely low. But I love it. I absolutely love playing with this build, and this is so fire to have on the court, bro. 100%. Now, moving along to our last build right here. This is the one that Outer is going to be on, and he's going to play our power forward essentially. So he's playing alongside Joey as our 4, and Joey's going to be playing the 5 on either of those two builds, whatever works for the night of the runs essentially. Now on this one, you can see we are featuring a lot more into finishing and a little bit less into defense / rebounding. So the rebound chaser is only going to be on gold, box out beast on Hall of Fame still, obviously, but this build is going to provide a little bit more vertical, a little bit more speed. Actually, I'd say significant more speed and vertical, and then also again, still Hoff box out beast, gold rebound chaser, gold anchor, good steal, good prim D. Obviously, it's a little bit more mobile, has the 70 ball handle as well for a couple decent dribble moves, and also the bronze quick first step, bronze unpluckable, and then 86 pass act for obviously the break starter on Hall of Fame. And all this is necessary to be able to get play take. You may wonder why 40 speed with ball, why 70 ball handle. Again, play take, and we don't want to go like super crazy into the 90s on pass accuracy or anything like that. And I don't even think you can do it like that. So anyway, what you're going to see too though is I have wingspan down 1. Now if you go max wingspan, it'll let you be 79 speed, and you'd be able to maybe, you know, have a little bit less weight on the build, etc, etc. That's what actually buys you the speed. And as you can see, going down on that wingspan allows us to get the 82 3-pointer, that gold green machine, obviously Deadeye, and a badge point too. And you're going to need the badge points because we need to have at least 17 shooting. And the lower you are on this, the more like really inconvenient it becomes. So you definitely want that extra shooting badge point. We go with that extra mid-range right here with the 68 just to be able to get this a little bit closer to that 17. We have to spend at least 1 shooting badge point here for sure. Finishing wise, everything is pretty good, but we're going to invest a couple more because obviously it's a little bit harder to afford things like gold takeoff, gold slithery, and gold poster while still having fearless and to be running rise up with no finishing core. And then defensively, it's pretty much the same story as what you just saw beforehand. It's going to be pretty simple as far as the defensive badges that we load up on. But again, this is meant to be a little bit more athletic, a little bit more baity on defense. You can actually like kind of play lanes better out the corner. And obviously, its contribution on offense is going to be a little bit more dunking based. Now, I would suggest if you go with a build like this, I have my boy Dre who's making a build like this too. I play rec with him pretty consistently, and we actually want to get him on the team, getting a couple reps as well. So he's going to be kind of our backup power forward in a sense, and he's going to be on a build like this as well. Now, I think this is best used in the hands of someone that's actually good with their dunk meter. The ball handle is good. You have bronze clamp breaker. You have 93 driving dunk. You've got elite and pro on the driving dunks, and then the pro standing big man contact dunks as well. Not to mention it features in a little bit for your driving contact dunks, having those big man packages. And I think like both Outer and Dre on builds like this could absolutely kill, and I'm looking forward to seeing it as well. The driving dunk factor of this is a huge thing, and I think it's a really scary build out the corner. Whether it's on the cuts, whether it's the shooting, whether it's just to catch it in the corner and drive with it with the 70 ball handle and the 93 dunk and go for those dunk meters, and it's still an athletic build, contributes as a second dropper on defense, and I think this is a really, really convenient thing to have at the 4. And not to mention, once again, for the 3rd time, playmaking takeover. It's such a cool thing to have on the court. I can't stress it enough. Besides that though, same takeover options as every build we've showcased so far. Sharp play, rim, and glass. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this build's badge tiers and stuff like that, because it does get a little bit complicated. So ideally, I would say a double shooting core would be pretty convenient, because then we'd be able to run something like Claymore or Green Machine in the 2nd slot as well. And also we have that 1 extra shooting badge point that will be on here. So picture catch and shoot pretty much is active on gold. We'll just take the core off, but just picture that it's on gold. And we'll have 1 extra badge point to spend elsewhere. It would be convenient to run Space Creator at a little bit of a higher level, but we'll see. The build's not exactly that usable in the hop jumper aspect, and a Hall of Fame Space Creator goes a long, long way, but couldn't afford the mid-range to be high enough, if you ask me. And it's just tough, because obviously you can see the 3-pointer, it was going to be, I think, 84 to be able to get the Hoff Space Creator too. But honestly, it's okay to not run that, and my true take on it would be just be, it'd be kind of convenient to run only one shooting core, so catch and shoot, simple as that, and you'd be able to run something like maybe this, for instance, where you just go Bronze Agent 3, Bronze Clutch Shooter, and then Gold on Green Machine, Claymore, and then Silver on Blinders as well. And then with the finishing, if you have that single core, be able to get the Silver Rise Up on the core, and then be able to run Poster. You could even run like Poster core if you wanted as well, because then obviously you just need that one extra badge point, but then we could just take Drop Stepper off, something like that, boom, there you go. If Poster is easier to core for you, like it would be for me, then Rise Up, then you could go like this, and it'd really be not that big a deal. So Fearless Finisher after that, Limitless Takeoff, Slithery, and then the Bronze Acrobat as well, or if you'd rather Drop Stepper than Acrobat, whatever's your cup of tea, simple as that. Playmaking wise, this is going to actually not run Floor General. We have the Unpluckable currently cored because I think it'd be a lot easier to get the core. If you wanted to get really sweaty with it though, you could end up coring the Hall of Fame Break Starter, run Unpluckable, then maybe just don't run handles for days, and then boom, you could go like, let's say maybe Bronze Bailout if you really felt like that, then boom, you have the Hall Floor General. This could be the way you go about it, whatever you prefer, to be honest. This requires a lot more grinding. The Unpluckable on Bronze doesn't really require quite as much grinding, but either way, you could even still run the Gold Floor Gen, or you could just take it off, simple as that, boom, run the Unpluckable, and then there you go. There's exactly what you could still run. But I honestly do think the extra playmaking badge point right here, if you're going to run something like this, could be a little bit convenient. Now, mind you, I didn't even mention any extra badge points at all as far as anything we'd be running. Like, I didn't mention anything for the shooting, nothing for the finishing, nothing for the playmaking yet, besides maybe one extra badge point for that Clamp Breaker. And then for the defense, everything's already sorted out. So honestly, it's up to you what you want to do with this stuff. I would really even say you could just invest a lot into shooting and then be more comfortable with it and act like you had a double core. Or again, if you have the double shooting core, you could just put a bunch of extra into finishing, and then you could be able to afford everything like that. So it's kind of up to you. I would either recommend go really heavy into shooting if you're gonna go with like a single core on each, where you have the one finishing, one shooting, or go really heavy into finishing if you have the double shooting core. Whatever feels most convenient for you, anything could work between those two. But that is all for that build. That is all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put Outer, put Dre, put Joey in the comments. Search Perks Mary through any of those three. Shout out to these three fellas for hopping on the builds and stuff like that too. I'm really looking forward to the runs. I'm looking forward to running the double bigs consistently. There are multiple lineups we can run with that, whether it's with a lock still even and the two bigs and just running two guards with Joey on the 7-footer right here, or there's even like the double bigs lineup with 3 guards where we could just run like Joey on the 7-2 and Outer on the 6-11, and then boom, just run like me, Tonic, and Zeke on the court all at the same time with 3 point guard builds. So those are our options. I'm looking forward to the runs, and I'm happy to just get things going. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.